Scorpio, come a little closer for a moment. There's a quiet shift moving through the air right now, subtle yet unmistakable, the kind of shift your spirit recognizes before your mind forms words for it. Something in the rhythm of the last few days has carried a different weight, a deeper current that brushes against the edges of your awareness and lingers there. March 19 stands in front of you like a threshold, calm on the surface, yet humming with a pressure that feels almost electric beneath it. Venus and Jupiter draw into a sharp angle in the sky, a tension of expansion and desire, and the atmosphere around this moment feels charged with possibility. Energy gathers, slowly tightening, like the quiet breath before a wave lifts and reshapes the shoreline. Somewhere within you, a small stirring may have already begun. A thought that keeps returning, a feeling that rises in unexpected moments, a sense that something in your life, love, resources, a path forward, wants your attention with a little more urgency than usual. Scorpio senses these undercurrents more naturally than most. You feel the shift in tone before the room even realizes the music changed. Over the last few days, subtle signals may have appeared in ordinary moments, conversations that linger longer in your thoughts, opportunities that flash briefly across your path, emotions surfacing with unusual clarity. It feels like the ground beneath your life quietly adjusting, almost imperceptibly at first. A turning point rarely arrives with loud announcements. It moves in through instinct, through a quiet pressure inside the chest, through the feeling that a choice somewhere on the horizon carries more gravity than usual. March 19 carries that kind of atmosphere. Venus, the keeper of values and connection, meets the expansive force of Jupiter through a tense angle in the sky. When these two energies press against each other, desire grows louder, opportunity grows larger, and the inner compass begins to pull towards something meaningful. For Scorpio, this moment touches deeper layers. The heart begins to notice what truly matters. The mind senses the shape of a decision slowly forming in the background of everyday life. A crossroads begins to take form, subtle at first, yet filled with quiet intensity. And before we go deeper into what this moment may awaken, I want to ask you something, Scorpio. If you feel that quiet pull already stirring inside you, type this in the comments. Scorpio ready for March 19, 777. Because the energy building around this date did not appear overnight, and the story of how it arrived begins a few days earlier. Something began shifting earlier than March 19, Scorpio. The movement started quietly on March 6th, when Venus stepped into Aries and carried a sharper tone into the atmosphere. Desire gained momentum, values stirred awake, and the emotional current around everyday moments began to feel more alive. That entrance opened the first doorway. Venus in Aries carries a direct pulse, a willingness to move toward what the heart recognizes as meaningful, and the air around this transit held a subtle spark of courage. Somewhere within your inner landscape, a small signal may have flickered on, a recognition that something important wanted your attention. Then March 7th arrived, and Venus drifted into the mist of Neptune. The energy softened, dreamlike, almost fluid, and inspiration moved through the emotional field like a tide rising under moonlight. Visions of what life could feel like began to surface, gentle yet powerful, touching places within you that respond to possibility. For a moment, the future seemed wider. Ideas carried color, emotions carried depth, and certain longings inside the heart gained a clearer voice. Many people experience this as a quiet realization, a feeling that something meaningful waited somewhere just beyond the visible horizon. Then the atmosphere shifted again on March 8th. Venus encountered Saturn, and the energy gathered weight, gravity, and structure. Where Neptune offered vision, Saturn invited grounding, asking the heart to look closely at what truly holds value and what carries the strength to endure. This moment sharpened perception. Emotions gained clarity, priorities stepped forward, and the path ahead began to take shape with more definition. Just 2 days later, on March 10, Venus moved through a deeper layer of transformation as she touched Pluto. The tone of the sky deepened, almost like entering a hidden chamber beneath the surface of ordinary life. Desires evolved, feelings intensified, and something within began to align with truth. That same day carried another powerful shift. Jupiter, the great planet of expansion and opportunity, turned direct after months of inward reflection. Energy that once moved beneath the surface now began to move outward, opening channels where growth could take form in real, tangible ways. So these days leading to March 19th have formed a quiet arc: inspiration, structure, transformation, and expansion weaving together into one gathering current. When energy builds like this, Scorpio, the inner world begins to mirror the sky above. And as these forces continue to move toward their meeting point, another layer of experience starts to rise inside you, the feeling of standing at an inner crossroad. As March 19 draws closer, Scorpio, the sky begins to hold a quiet tension. Venus and Jupiter move into a sharp square, a meeting that carries a pressure between two powerful currents. The air around this moment feels charged with movement, as if two different horizons inside your life begin calling at the same time. Venus speaks in the language of the heart. She touches the deeper layers of desire, the emotional truth that lives beneath everyday choices, the quiet knowing of what truly matters. Under her influence, certain feelings grow clearer, like light passing through deep water and illuminating something that has waited patiently for recognition. At the same time, Jupiter expands the field of possibility. His presence opens the landscape, revealing paths that stretch further into the future, filled with opportunity, growth, and a sense of wide potential. Jupiter carries the energy of vision, the feeling that life can become larger, fuller, more abundant. When these two forces press against each other through a square, the inner atmosphere grows intense. Desire asks for honesty, while expansion invites a step toward something bigger. The heart leans toward emotional truth, while the horizon offers doors that lead into a broader life. For Scorpio, this moment can feel like a magnetic pull moving in two directions at once. One current guides you inward, toward the authenticity of your feelings, toward the quiet power of personal values that shape who you are becoming. Another current opens outward, revealing possibilities that stretch beyond familiar territory. Inside that tension, awareness begins to sharpen. Certain choices start to glow with unusual significance, as though the soul senses that a decision carries weight beyond the surface of the moment. Growth often rises through these intersections, where emotion and vision meet in the same breath. Somewhere within your inner world, Scorpio, the landscape begins to rearrange itself. One path carries the energy of emotional truth, the courage to honor what lives deep in the heart. Another path carries the promise of expansion, the sense of life opening into something larger and more expressive. And as this inner crossroad takes form, another layer of experience slowly begins to surface, one that moves directly through the realm of connection and the heart itself. As this energy deepens around March 19th, Scorpio, the movement begins to reach the most sensitive spaces of life, the realm of connection, attraction, and emotional intimacy. Venus carries the pulse of the heart, and under this pressure from Jupiter, feelings rise closer to the surface with a quiet intensity. Something within the emotional field begins to glow a little brighter, as if a hidden signal finally receives permission to speak. For some, this may appear as a sudden magnetism toward someone whose presence feels strangely familiar. The kind of attraction that moves beyond surface charm and touches something deeper, something instinctive, something alive beneath the skin. When Venus and Jupiter interact through this tense angle, emotions carry a larger presence, and connections can feel charged with meaning. For others, the shift unfolds through conversation. Words gain weight, pauses carry emotion, and the space between two people fills with a deeper level of awareness. A truth that has lived quietly within the heart may find its moment to surface, gentle, yet unmistakably real. Scorpio understands the language of emotional depth more naturally than most. The energy surrounding March 19 invites a moment of revelation in that inner world, where honesty becomes a bridge between two souls. When the heart opens with courage, a different layer of intimacy begins to form, one built on authenticity rather than surface comfort. Scorpio, this moment touches the heart deeply. If you feel that inner shift already moving through your emotions, you can share it below. Type this in the comments. Scorpio speaking my truth, 888. Sometimes a single moment of emotional clarity changes the atmosphere between two people. A quiet admission, a brave sentence, or even a shared silence can reshape the direction of a relationship in subtle yet powerful ways. And as these emotional currents move through the landscape of connection, another dimension of the Venus-Jupiter energy begins to unfold. One that touches the realm of value, resources, and the deeper power behind the choices you make. As the Venus-Jupiter current continues to unfold, Scorpio, its influence begins to move through another layer of life, the realm of resources, opportunity, and personal power in the material world. Money, value, and direction in career begin to carry a slightly different tone during this period. The atmosphere holds a sense of expansion, like a door opening just enough for a new possibility to become visible. Jupiter brings movement into the field of growth. When this planet turns direct and begins to stretch its influence outward again, the energy surrounding work, opportunity, and long-term prosperity starts to feel more active. A sense of forward motion enters the environment, and possibilities that once lived quietly beneath the surface begin rising toward practical expression. Venus adds another dimension to this moment. She governs value, exchange, and the way a person recognizes the worth of what they offer to the world. Under this pressure from Jupiter, Venus begins to highlight something important for Scorpio: the deeper awareness of personal value. Sometimes this awareness appears through a financial opportunity, an investment idea, a new direction for income, or a conversation that opens the door to a professional step forward may suddenly carry more weight. The mind grows focused, the instincts sharpen, and the energy of decision begins to gather. For Scorpio, money rarely represents simple numbers on a page. It carries a deeper connection to control, influence, and the ability to shape the structure of one's life. During this Venus-Jupiter alignment, that awareness of financial power begins to rise to the surface in a very tangible way. Excitement may appear first, like a spark of inspiration about a new path or opportunity. Soon after, attention moves into focus, as if the mind begins quietly mapping the long road ahead. Jupiter offers the horizon, while Venus asks a simple yet powerful question about what truly deserves your energy. Through that question, confidence in personal value begins to grow. When that confidence strengthens, the flow of resources often begins to shift as well. And while these movements unfold in the outer world of opportunity and ambition, another signal begins forming much closer to home, within the body itself, where intuition often speaks long before the mind catches up. As the days move closer to March 19th, Scorpio, the shift in energy often begins to register in a very quiet place, the body. Long before decisions take shape in the mind, the nervous system senses the movement of deeper currents. A subtle charge may appear beneath the surface of ordinary moments, like a quiet vibration moving through the chest or along the spine. You may notice a stronger awareness of your surroundings. Sounds carry a little more presence, conversations linger longer in your thoughts, and certain emotions arrive with unexpected clarity. These signals often appear when the inner world begins aligning with a larger cosmic rhythm. Scorpio holds a natural sensitivity to these undercurrents. Your instincts operate like an internal compass, tuned to emotional frequencies that many people overlook. During powerful alignments like the Venus-Jupiter square, that intuitive channel grows especially active. Some people describe it as a rush of energy moving through the body. Others feel it as a heightened emotional awareness, where the heart recognizes significance in seemingly ordinary encounters. Moments feel more vivid, reactions feel deeper, and the inner voice becomes easier to hear. At times, the sensation resembles a quiet alertness, as if the body senses an approaching moment of importance. The breath deepens, attention sharpens, and intuition begins to whisper with unusual clarity. These signals often arrive gently, yet they carry a sense of truth that resonates beyond logic. The human body holds an ancient intelligence. It responds to shifts in environment, emotion, and energy with remarkable precision. When the sky forms powerful alignments, the body often becomes the first place where awareness awakens. Through that awareness, Scorpio begins to reconnect with a deeper trust in personal instinct. Decisions begin forming from the inside outward, guided by a quiet certainty that feels both calm and powerful. And within that rising awareness, something else slowly becomes visible. The individuals who recognize these signals and move with them, stepping into a new level of growth as the moment unfolds. As the energy of March 19 gathers strength, Scorpio, a certain group of people, begins to move differently within that atmosphere. They feel the tension in the sky, the pull inside the heart, and something within them responds with quiet focus. Awareness turns inward first, where desire becomes clearer and the deeper intention behind their choices begins to take shape. These individuals carry a strong sense of what they truly want. Their vision forms through emotional clarity rather than passing impulse, and that clarity becomes a guiding light moving steadily through the noise of everyday life. When Venus touches the deeper values of the heart and Jupiter opens the horizon of possibility, something powerful begins to align. In those moments, action takes on a different quality. Movement becomes deliberate, steady, and intentional, as though each step grows from an inner center of gravity. The energy of focus replaces hesitation, and the path forward begins to reveal itself through small yet meaningful choices. For Scorpio, this kind of movement often begins quietly. A realization forms deep within the emotional landscape, a recognition that certain desires carry real significance. Once that recognition settles into place, the mind and heart begin to move together with surprising strength. Confidence grows from that alignment. When emotional truth meets a long-term vision, the sense of direction becomes sharper, almost magnetic. The individual who understands this alignment begins to move through life with a deeper sense of purpose. These are the people who rise during moments like this. They listen to the deeper voice inside them, and their actions reflect that inner clarity. Their choices carry both emotional depth and long-range awareness, creating momentum that reaches far beyond a single moment in time. Within this space of awareness, Scorpio begins to feel something powerful awaken. A quiet empowerment that grows from understanding the truth within and allowing that truth to guide the next step. And as this realization spreads through the inner world, another layer of meaning begins to appear in the sky itself. A larger pattern forming around March 19 that reveals why this moment carries such a rare and powerful window of energy. As March 19 approaches, Scorpio, the sky itself begins to reveal a pattern that feels unusually concentrated. Certain planetary movements align in a way that creates a moment of heightened potential, almost like a brief opening in the fabric of time. Astrologers often describe these moments as a cosmic window, a period when several forces in the heavens move together and amplify one another. At the center of this pattern stands the square between Venus and Jupiter. Venus carries the pulse of personal value, emotional connection, and the choices that shape everyday life. Jupiter carries expansion, growth, and the quiet promise that the future holds room for something larger. When these two forces meet in a square, their interaction creates movement. Energy gathers between desire and opportunity, between the heart's truth and the horizon of possibility. The atmosphere becomes charged with a sense of momentum, as though the sky itself invites a step towards something meaningful. Another layer adds to the intensity of this moment. Jupiter has recently turned direct, emerging from months of inward reflection. During retrograde motion, Jupiter's influence moves through the inner world, guiding personal insight and quiet realignment. Once Jupiter begins moving forward again, that inner preparation starts flowing outward into lived experience. This shift creates a feeling of expansion, returning to the landscape of life. Opportunities begin to appear more clearly, ideas find channels for expression, and the sense of movement grows stronger with each passing day. Jupiter's direct motion acts almost like a rising tide beneath the events unfolding around March 19th. At the same time, other planetary currents continue weaving through the background. Each alignment contributes another subtle layer of energy, building an atmosphere where emotional awareness, intuition, and opportunity move together in a powerful rhythm. When several cosmic movements converge like this, the moment carries a certain sacred quality. The sky reflects a pattern of possibility, and individuals who sense that rhythm often experience a deeper awareness of timing. For Scorpio, that awareness may feel like standing near a threshold, a quiet doorway between the life that has unfolded so far and the life that waits just beyond the next choice. And as this cosmic window continues to open, the story begins to move toward a moment of transformation that feels both personal and profound. Scorpio, the path we walk together through these moments of the sky slowly circles back to you. March 19 stands here like a quiet threshold, a day where something inside begins to move with deeper clarity. The journey through these energies carries a gentle invitation, a moment of choice that rises from within your own awareness. Across the days leading here, subtle signals have been forming beneath the surface, emotions gaining depth, instincts speaking with greater confidence, opportunities appearing with a quiet glow of possibility. Scorpio, your nature understands these currents in a way that reaches beyond words. A moment like this often arrives softly. A realization appears in the heart, a decision begins shaping itself in the background of everyday life, and the path forward slowly gathers form. Within that space, a deeper truth begins to rise, the kind that belongs to you alone. March 19 holds the feeling of a doorway opening. One step grows from intuition, another from intention, and together they create a rhythm that moves life toward a new horizon. Scorpio senses that rhythm with a rare sensitivity, feeling the quiet power of transformation before it fully unfolds. And so this moment becomes a threshold, a day where inner clarity meets the movement of the world around you, where the heart recognizes what carries meaning and the future begins to widen gently ahead. Somewhere within that space, Scorpio, your next chapter begins to breathe. Scorpio, this moment carries powerful energy. If you feel that quiet shift within you, you can share it below. Type this in the comments: Scorpio embracing the shift, 777. And if this message found its way into your thoughts tonight, you are always welcome to stay connected here. A simple like, a share with someone who walks a similar path, or a quiet subscription to the channel helps this space continue growing. Think of it less as following a channel and more as walking a path together, exploring the language of the sky, the rhythms of the heart, and the quiet wisdom that lives within each sign of the zodiac. Until our paths cross again, Scorpio, may your intuition remain steady, your heart remain open, and your steps carry the calm strength of someone who knows the power of their own transformation.